everybody, we're back. Another episode. Daniel, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey Shane, what's up, bro? Doing good. How are
Good,
you
good,
doing?
good. I'm doing pretty well. So today we're going to do kind of a part two, if you will, of rejection. Might be a shorter episode, which is just fine. But last time we talked about, how to handle rejection, how to kind of come back from it, how to, mentally stay in the game and just keep on going or focus on what you got to. But now we're going to talk about how to the other side of that if you have to be the one rejecting somebody else. And again, we like to focus not just on men or women, just everybody in general. So it's kind of both sides, but we I mean I bet we've all been on both sides of it. I certainly have. And neither one is fun, that's for sure. It's, I mean, I would say being rejected is definitely worse than rejecting, but it's not by much. Daniel, what experience do you have with rejecting, people just in general?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you just made me think of something that happens to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Especially, what comes to mind is, back a few years ago, I realized that the place I was working at, my boss would never fire people himself. He would
Oh,
always have his assistant do the dirty job. And so going back to what you said, nobody likes rejecting or in my manager's case, firing people, right?
mhm.
So it's not a fun place to be at, but it's necessary, especially if the people that you're firing or rejecting are not adding up to your life. So you got to look around and figure out what people are there to bring value into your life, and vice versa, of course, right? Because it's reciprocal.
Of course.
But if there is people in your life that are not doing that and are just being distracting, then what are they doing in their life, in your life? I mean, you should just get rid of them. And it sounds hard, it sounds harsh, but that's how it's supposed to be, because otherwise these people are going to keep on taking away your energy. They're keep on feeding from you and being a burden. So it's your job to fire them. It's your job to kick them out, kick them to the curb, because nobody else is going to do it for you, right? So again, it sounds heartless, right? It sounds hard, but it's necessary if you want to make progress, if you want to level up, if you want to improve yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's rejection for me these days.
That's a great, first of all, great story, great example, but also it made me, reminded me that this isn't just about dating. I mean, yes, it is, but this can be, like you said, if you're a manager at a job or you own a business and you have employees,
Mhm.
this could be um, maybe toxic people in your life, whether it's a friend, even a family member. If you own your own business and maybe you have like a business partner or someone that you're working with, like a
Right.
web developer, and they're like not doing a good job with your website, and they're not calling you back, and
Hmm.
the website's always down or it's glitchy or something. Well, you got to either talk to them or you have to move on to another developer and get it fixed instead of just being perpetually in this state of victim mentality or, well, as we talked about nice last time, nice guy and or nice girl, and just being complacent. You have to sometimes you have to be able to say no, and you have to know when to cut the cord, so to speak. Um, yeah, those are great examples that you gave. So
Yeah, man, it is, and it's great that you mentioned this. Most people think that rejection only happens in just one area of life. If you have these um bigger understanding of it, you'll see that it happens everywhere in relationships. It happens at your job. It happens between friends. It happens in businesses, especially. This is particularly relevant for me these days because I'm running my own business right now, and so sometimes I have to rely on people to help me work a few of my projects. And so I have to be careful with the people I hire, because some of these people are just there for the money, right? They don't care about the job, they don't care about my business. They just want to get paid, and they don't care about doing a good job. And so now I understand why companies and managers and bosses, they take their time to go through some people, to interview people before they hire them. And so it all makes sense, right? In relationships, it should be the same, right? Before you get into a relationship with someone, you need to know what that person is like. You need to basically read his or her resume and see, where that person is coming from, what are the red flags that this person has from his or her past. All these things are important, and it's your job to qualify these people. And so you gotta be careful. That's just how it is. That's just the way it is. And in the past, I used to feel kind of bad when I would reject somebody, right? But I know how necessary it is now. But it's been years before I could see that, and so it's taken some time. But now I know better, and so if you are the one that is about to reject somebody or to fire somebody, like we've talked about in this episode, then don't feel bad about it, because I'm sure that you're even thinking or entertaining this idea because that person is not contributing anything, is not being helpful enough for you to be like, okay, no, I want this person in my life. And if you're even considering it, is there is something wrong with this person, and I'm pretty sure that you should definitely get rid of this person, because again, if you're even entertaining this thought, there is something to it, and so you need to take action right away.
yeah, you have to look at the overall picture. How much are they taking, and how much are they providing or giving? And overall, if they're providing more or giving more, then you're fine. Should be fine. But if they're taking more than they're giving, then yeah, you have to either have a talk or just let them go, cut that cord. Like I said, when you were talking, um, it made me think of a kind of a current situation I'm in right now. Not a big deal, but I'm currently looking. I'm in the market right now for a photographer, and I've been like kind of I have it kind of narrowed down to a couple, but I've been emailing with one of them, and they're very inconsistent with their emails and like their just response rate. Like it could be one day or it could be 5 days. And we were actually supposed to have like a quick phone consult last night. And this person didn't even reach out, didn't call me, didn't text me, didn't email me at all. And so I don't think this is the person I want to give my money to, no matter how much, but that, no matter how much it is, because they're obviously not reliable. So thank you next, try again, I guess, or next person. So I won't
Mhm.
be, don't think I'll be using their services, but that's fine. You know, luckily I didn't get burned and like paid them money and then got left at the altar, so to speak. So I'm kind of glad this happened now instead of later. So this is a good example of just learning how to say no and reject when necessary. So now in this case, I guess I don't have to really do much. I guess I can just not reach back out and that's fine. Or if they do reach out to me, I'll have to kind of, I'll have to basically call them out and be like, listen, this is what I expect. If you can't meet that, then it's too bad, so sad.
Mhm.
Or I'll just tell them, hey, it's not working out. This is not what I'm looking for, or whatever it is. Now, when it comes, let's just focus now on more on dating because this is really what this podcast is about: is dating, relationships, and whatnot. That's our main focus, I believe. Um, so, in my experience, when I've had to do this, usually it's over the phone, but it's good to kind of maybe rehearse or I'd like to practice a few things, at least like one main aspect of it. But it's better to just, watch your tone, really have a good serious tone, but don't beat around the bush. Just basically just get right to it, rip off the band-aid. Um, be as honest and authentic as you can without being as harsh as you can. They're going to appreciate it, and I know that I always have when I've been rejected, whether it's texting or phone or whatever it is. Um, what do you think about that, Daniel? What are your experiences with that rejecting people?
I've always been too nice to reject people. I don't think I
Really?
have, yeah,
Okay.
many experiences.
Okay.
Um,
That's well. Thank.
but especially in relationships, because I was
Yeah.
always the one trying to accommodate everything and try to be extremely nice to these people, even though sometimes they didn't deserve it. But that's how I was, and I still am at at some level. I'm still that same guy, and I know that if I get into a relationship, these type of behavior might come back, but I'll be more careful this time. And so, yeah, I think I'm I'm really, I mean, these days I'm very good at rejecting people when it comes to like friends or business partners or just assistants, that I might want to hire. I can be ruthless and just be like, okay, these people are not really helping me, so why are they doing, you know, what are they doing in my life? There is no need for them to be in my life, so I just get rid of them, right? But like you said, we're making this podcast about relationships, so right now I'm not dating anyone, so I don't really have the need to reject somebody per se. But I know I'll do better if I happen to find someone.
Well, thanks for all of that and just being open and honest. And that's also what this whole podcast is about: just being open, honest, authentic, vulnerable, and all that, all those things. Um, that's a trait of the nice guy, nice gal syndrome is being too nice. You either don't end it at all, or you wait way too long to end it, or you do
Mhm.
it so poorly that maybe it's confusing or not clear, or you just get right back together because, oh, I hurt you. Okay, let's keep dating or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
I've never done that, but I have done the thing where I've stayed in relationships longer than I probably should have. That's classic bad dating or just nice person behavior. So earlier this year, I was seeing a woman and we liked each other and it'd been like a month and a half, 2 months, but I just knew that it wasn't a good long term option, and I didn't want to waste my time or her time. And it was going to get harder and harder the longer we went. So I had to, I thought about it for a good 24, 48 hours, make sure that was the right move. But I had to, man up, so to speak, or woman up, and give her a call and just got right to the point. We ended up having a great conversation. We talked for like 20, 30 minutes because we weren't like super serious yet. Of course, we were just still kind of getting to know each other and dating. And she's a really good person, and so it was very amicable. We're actually still friends today. We still we'll talk here and there, but um, it was I felt bad at the time, but I felt so much better in the end afterwards because I know it was the right move. No regrets, and she understood, and it was good. It's they say honesty is the best policy. Well, there's a reason that's the saying because it is for the most part. I can't think of too many exceptions, but it does pay to be honest. In the end, it could be hard, but it's better than trying to lie and cheat and deceive because that usually blows up in your face. And we look at Watergate for example. The cover up is worse than the crime. So yeah,
Yeah.
think about that, man.
Yeah. So, like I said, these days I know better. So I know that the next relationship I have is gonna be much more real because
Yeah.
I'll set rules from the very beginning so that the other person knows what to expect and vice versa, right? Because I want her to also tell me what they expect from me. So
Yeah.
I think as long as you have those rules and boundaries clear, then rejection is not really a possibility. I mean, it might still happen, but I think the way you want to go about it is making sure that you reduce the chances for that to happen. And the way you do that is by setting rules and knowing specific expectations from the very beginning.
Yeah. And yeah, that's all. Yeah. Having rules, it all comes down to communication, right?
Communication.
And I think you mentioned this in the previous episode. I forget the context, but not just communication with the people around you, your partner, your family, friends, whatever, your coworkers, but yourself. Communicate with yourself. So really just constantly check in with yourself, whether it's weekly,
Right.
monthly, I guess it could be daily, but and how you feel your feelings, both mentally, but also even like just viscerally. What are you feeling in your body about certain things?
Right.
Um, and I want to do this at some point, but I want to keep like a track of my gut feelings and like how often they're accurate because I feel like my gut is maybe not 100%. It's probably not 100% right, but it's probably pretty high up there. When your gut is telling you something, listen to it. You don't have to make a rash decision per se, but you need to at least. It's like the check engine light on your car. It's telling you something's up. Doesn't mean your car's going to blow up, and it might be something minor, but it means something's going on. So don't ignore that light. Don't ignore that feeling in your body and your head, and really just listen. And if you need to get advice, talk to people that you trust. Talk to a therapist, whatever it is, a rabbi or whatever it might be. And really just do that introspection. Meditation, especially like meditation or like going on like a nature walk or hike or taking a nap or just really being in quiet, listening to good music. Like all these things can make you really focus more. And usually, in my case, usually something will come to you eventually. Like it might not come right away, but if you give it like some space to grow and whatever, it'll come to you. And then you can that'll make your decision easier and more clear. And then you got to take the action of if it is rejection, like we said earlier, just it's best to just kind of be honest, clear, and to the point. and that's the best way to kind of just reject people. So
That's the best policy. Yes. And I
mhm.
really like how you went really deep into, you know, where it all comes from, right? It's
Yes,
knowing thyself, right? Know what you
beautiful.
like, the boundaries that you're willing to accept. If you don't know any of these things, then of course people are gonna violate them,
Yep.
and you will be forced to be rejecting them more. But ironically, you wouldn't be able to because you don't know why they are behaving that way anyway. So it all
Yeah.
starts from what Shane mentioned, know yourself, know thyself.
And a couple things there. If someone violates a boundary, yeah, it's partly their fault, but it's also partially your fault for letting
Oh
them
my God.
violate it
Yes.
and not mentioning it. So
Yep.
you gotta, you just gotta be true to yourself. So
Yeah, I read somewhere it's something like nobody's gonna do to you what you are not willing to accept. I think it's something along those lines. So they are like things that people do to you is because you are letting them. You know, if they are being disrespectful towards you, is because you allowed it. And in all honesty, it's not even their fault because they are just doing what they've always done. They've always been that way. That's why they are, doing it with everybody. And so when they come to you, they're gonna do the same. Why would they change just for you? That's who they are. So it's your job to tell them what's up, and be like, hey, this is my limits, right? This is my boundaries. And if you're not gonna, do this my way, then it's the highway, right?
yeah, talk about it. Yeah, especially if they do it at multiple. If they do it, I mean, there could be an exception of the first time you didn't know. Okay, but at that point, it is your responsibility then is
Yep.
to say something, communicate a boundary, and then it's
Yep.
your responsibility to discipline and hold that boundary. You're the guard of the door, so to speak.
Yep. You are.
And yeah, that falls on you. And if it becomes a repeating issue, then you need to either keep talking about it, make it more clear, maybe, or again, we're back to the same thing: reject, walk away. You got to cut that bad stuff out of your life. One more thing I wanted to mention that you were made me think about is, and I'm guilty of this. I mean, we're all probably guilty. It's hard not to. It's easy. It's hard not to do this, but try not to figure out what other people are doing or thinking, because you're probably going to just drive yourself crazy if you try to figure out why do they do the things they do. You know, sure, I guess you can ask them. Maybe you can get some insight, or maybe they can even tell you. But sometimes they might not even know themselves. You know,
Oh
like Daniel
yeah.
said, that might just be their baked into their personality. They do, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's just something really innocuous, like they don't close the drawer where the silverware is. Like that's not a huge crime. It's not a big deal, but maybe that bothers you. Well, I don't know. That's just part of who they are, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. They are not even aware that they are doing it because
yeah, exactly.
nobody tells them. And even if they tell them, right? If they get told, hey, this is what you're doing, they, I mean, how could they change something? How could they change something that they've been doing for years, right?
It would be hard.
So it would be hard. Like everything we do is a habit. We are good at, you know, being the way we are because we've always been this way, right? We have good habits, we have bad habits, but we keep repeating these practices, activities, because that's what we've been doing for years. And so that's why it's really hard to change our habits and incorporate new ones. And so I think self awareness and, like Shane mentioned, knowing yourself, really being introspective, and starting there, I think is crucial for starting to become better at setting boundaries and being able to reject people, because rejection, now that I think about it, is paramount, right? Rejection is necessary,
Yes.
whether people like it or not. So that's my 50 cents on it.
Yeah, you're right. Rejection is, like it or love it or hate it.
Yes.
It's a part of life.
Yep.
We've all had it, and we're gonna have more of it on both sides. Rejecting and being rejected. So, um,
So
yeah,
don't think about it as something negative, right? If rejection is happening in your life right now, that's just, you know, life telling you, hey, you know, this is what you came here for. This is what it, this is the fee for being alive, right? You gotta pay. You gotta pay up, and that doesn't mean that you're out of the game. No, you just keep playing. And just like you have rejections, or you are rejecting, you will have wins and success, and the opposite of rejection. You're gonna have both in life, and so just keep playing.
you just made me think of one more thing, and I don't want to get super cheesy here or anything, but it's all how you spin it. So you can actually say that, well, rejection is bad, right? It's a bad word. It's negative connotation, and yeah, to a point, it is. But when you think about it, it's actually a good thing, and it doesn't matter which end you're on. Because let's look at this from both angles. Let's say you're talking to your crush or a person you like. You've been on a few dates, whatever it might be, and they reject you. Now let's just assume that they're honest and that they're not a jerk about it or something. Think about it. They're saving you a lot of time. They're saving you more heartache, more trouble,
Yeah.
more drama, all these things. They're not the right person for you, and they're saying, "Hey, this just isn't a good match. It's not, it's just I don't want to waste my time or your time." They're doing you. They're really doing you a favor. They honestly are.
They are. They are.
And if you have to, like me with this photographer, for example, or it's any kind of, this obviously isn't a good match for me. This person is not going to probably be fulfilling what I need in the photographer. So I'm saving myself either a bad experience and headache and frustration and stress and wasting money. So it's a good thing, right?
It's a
So
good thing. Yes.
kind of think about, it's just rejection is just, it's almost like, not to get a little dark here, but like death is just part of life. Rejection is part of life. Change
Yeah.
is part of it. And so just getting better at being rejected and rejecting, it's just it's like another life skill
Yes,
that we
sir.
all and we all most of us could probably do better at it, but luckily we'll have lots of practice, right? So yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. As long as you keep on just learning and trying, don't stop. Just don't stop. That's it. Just keep going. That's all.
And then anyway, with rejection, I mean, you'll find the opposite of that. You'll find something that sticks. You'll find acceptance. You'll find love, and joy, happiness. Those things will come to you as well. You can't have one without the other.
If anything, Shane and everybody listening to this, love rejection. Seek out rejection more.
Mm.
Learn to love it. Learn to accept it. Learn to seek it out. And that's the game changer right there.
And as a final, maybe as a final note, add on top of that, and then what I said about how it's a good thing, it's also a learning experience. You're learning. You should hopefully learn from your rejections. I
Right.
know some of my heartaches and failed relationships, I've learned from those. Even if it's just one thing, learn from it. And when you reject somebody else, hopefully you learn from that as well, of what not to do or what to do better, what to look for different, whatever it might be. It's all experience, it's all data that's coming in.
Yeah.
It's just what you do with that data.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. So
Yes.
if you think about it, there is no losing in life. You either win or learn.
We should get T-shirts or mugs that say that, huh? That's a great way to end it right there, man. I can't top that. Wow.
Yeah, man. No, thank you for a good time tonight.
Yeah, this was a good episode. Hope you guys found this helpful or fulfilling, and definitely leave in the comments if you have any ideas or suggestions for other episodes. We'll do them. So, all right, guys.
Peace out.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. Also, follow us on YouTube for the full length videos and other shorter videos and other content. Same thing on Instagram and TikTok. Just search for Dating for Late Bloomers.